Hello. Dear Godfather, no offense intended, but are you sure these Q&As are spontaneous? In the one where you were saying your favorite vampires, you kept glancing down like you were maybe reading a script. Kids, no, of course these are not scripted. If these were scripted, don't you imagine that I would strive for slightly more coherent responses to your questions than I can already only just barely articulate as it is? My train of thought and my train of vision, they both just tend downward when I'm trying to concentrate or focus on a question or meditate or, in a lot of these instances, to remember something. And I recall my vision just kept returning to that slip of paper as I was trying to visualize my favorites. I can't help that, and I don't know what else to tell you, except to say this. If you don't believe me, you don't have to. You can see for yourselves. There. Take a good long look at that ink blotter. You see any scripts there? Huh? You see any dialogues? You see any cue cards or cheat sheets or crib notes or anything like that? No, of course not. All you see are a bunch of crummy little slips of paper with your crummy little questions written on them in your grubby little hands, and there you go. Down to hell with it. There. I hope that settles that. Doesn't it bother you that some of us are offended by what you have to say sometimes? No, it doesn't, and I will tell you why. You probably wrote that hoping that I would read it in just that way. Offended by what you have to say sometimes. And I did read it that way, but that's not how I perceive this. Oh, no. No. Doesn't it bother you that some of us are offended by what you have to say sometimes? That's how I perceive this, because that's the way it is. What I have to say, which is that which I am committed to say, obliged to say, sworn to say unto you, the truth. Truthful, honest, sincere responses to your questions. What else would you want? A bunch of lies? A bunch of fabulistic, fictitious fairy tales? A bunch of euphemisms and sugarcoating? Because if that's what you tune in to see, this begs a question which I need to turn around and submit to you. What in the hell kinds of punks and skins would you have to be if that's what you wanted? No, you tune in here for the truth in order to hear what I have to say. I'm afraid that's just the way it is. That's the way it's got to be. What is something that really, really scared you? Scared me? Like a phobia? Or do you mean like a specific instance, an experience in the past that was especially scary? If that's what you mean, then I can certainly give you an example. Decades ago, I was walking back to my house through this suburban neighborhood in the middle of the night. And I mean the deep, dark middle of the night. 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And it was deathly silent. It was literally in the still of the night. And I passed alongside this modern suburban house, deep in my thoughts, when all of a sudden I was broadsided by this wailing, screaming shriek that came emanating from within that house. Now, you know the design of those suburban houses. You know, you got the big windows in the front where the living rooms and the dens are, and then along the side you got the little telltale window that is really small, and it means it's the bathroom, you know. And then toward the rear you got those big sliding glass windows. Those are for the bedrooms generally. And it was from one of those windows that keening, piercing, penetrating shriek came pivoting out at me. I froze, trying to envision what in the world was happening, because obviously someone was being murdered in there. They must be being stabbed to death. And then in that split second of fright, my perception shifted, and I realized Indeed, someone was being impaled in that back bedroom, but it wasn't with a knife. And those weren't screams of anguish or pain. They were keening, moaning, wailing shrieks of climactic pleasure. Pleasure? That had damn well better have been ecstasy, because it almost gave me heart failure. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. I tell you, my God, did that scare me. I hope that answered your question. My Lord. Does Oi Boy also help with the editing or even the filming? Well, obviously no one helps with the filming. Editing, no. Well, he couldn't. He's in another state. He helps with the administrative points, the broadcasting. Through YouTube, to Facebook, Instagram, all the satellites, all that kind of thing. And tell you the truth, even though he's too polite and too loyal to say so, I know that this is becoming a burden on his already overworked schedule. And so, either by the end of this year or the start of next year, we're just going to kind of cut him free from all of this burden, so that he can have some time to himself, for sleep. Something along those lines. I have another skin lined up to fill in. It's one of your cousins with whom I'm not looking forward to be working, but I tell you what, he's going to assume the responsibility, and that's about that. Your older cousins, who originally committed to this project and who have long since fallen by the wayside, in their wake, we realized that what was best is to go beyond the scope of the punks and skins to outside resources. And that's where we get the assistance with editing. And we're very grateful for it. And in keeping with that gratitude, we pay for these editorial resources. And I might add, we pay very, very good. I've been watching KFUX as a lurker since the very beginning. At a couple of points, you've made derogatory remarks about the Church of Scientology. Do you not know that that's never really a good idea to do? And do you also not know that as far as the Church of Scientology is concerned, this officially designates you as a suppressive person? Wow, imagine that. Thank you. Me, a suppressive person. Wow, what a distinction. I'm truly flattered. I'm honored. Fame at last.